10 things to consider before getting married. This is very important, and I think this is coming so that you who is aspiring to get married, we know that there are things that you must look through and think through before tying the knot. So let's dive into it. A significant turning point in anyone's life is marriage. It is a unique period in one's life to make the commitment to love and appreciate someone through good and bad times. For a marriage to succeed and last a lifetime, a lot of issues must be resolved before you venture into marriage. So I'm going to be giving you some of the 10 reasons that you should consider thoroughly before making that commitment. So let's go. Number 1, compatibility. Compatibility is a very essential and it is very necessary, and it is one of the big components that should be considered before tying the knot with that person. You have to ask yourself, are you compatible? You have to make sure that you share similar values, that you share the same belief system or similar belief systems. You have to look at your objectives with your partner if they are in alignment. And importantly too is to watch out for his or her interest. You have to make sure that you have similar interest in things. So this should be considered before tying the knot. And number 2, communication. This is a very important thing to consider in any healthy relationship. You have to understand that healthy communication equals to a happy marriage. I'm going to repeat that. Healthy communication equals to a happy marriage. So if you want to have a lasting marriage and a happy marriage, you must consider that the person that you are getting married to have a good way of communicating. So it means that they are really grounded and they understand emotional intelligence. So couples must learn to speak with a lot of honesty. They must speak efficiently. They must speak freely to one another. And you have to understand that communication plays an important role to always overcome disagreement in marital relationship. So the strength of your communication, how healthy your communication is and that of your partner, will determine how far you can overcome disagreement in your relationship. So learn to consider communication before venturing into a marital relationship. And number 3 is financial compatibility. You must look at that. That is very important. Financial compatibility should be considered before tying the knot, before making commitment in a marital relationship. So you guys should learn to talk about debt. You should learn to talk about savings, and most importantly, spending pattern in the relationship. So this should be considered. Number 4, it is called family background. Okay, you have to understand that the family background of a person have a way of imparting their personality. So learn to consider the family background. Take a proper research on the family background. Spend time to know some of them or all of them if you can, and ask the right questions that you need to be clarified. And then when these are being done, you can be able to consider if you should go in or not. Okay, so family background is an important factor when getting married. Another thing that you have to learn to consider, which is the number 5, is conflict resolution. You guys must master the ability of resolving conflict. Why? Because there is always going to be friction in marriage. There are definitely going to be issues in marriage. They are bound to emerge. But when you have the ability to manage conflict and you have that emotional intelligence to be able to look at things in another person's shoes and then have a lot of empathy and kindness inside of you, then you can be able to resolve a lot of problems. So learn to consider conflict resolution before tying the knot. Another thing is what I call lifestyle. So make sure that both of you have a lifestyle that you both appreciate. So it means that you have a similar lifestyle so that issues don't come up. Another thing is you have to consider your shared goals. Make sure that the goals that you both have, that they are similar. So I'm going to rush because of time. Please also learn to consider your emotional compatibility. You have to understand that emotional compatibility is very vital in a healthy marriage. So couples must be ready and willing to support each other through good and bad times, through difficult times in your marital union. So you must be able to observe and be certain that the person that you want to tie the knot with have that maturity to be able to deal with you when you're having life issues. Okay, that is very important. Another thing is you have to learn to consider your partner's religions belief. Your partner's religious belief. Okay, you have to consider that. You have to make sure that you have the capacity to deal with your partner, and you must understand that in this there should be respect for what people believe. And lastly is what you have to consider before tying the knot is what I call personal growth. And I'm going to explain this, and please be patient. Personal growth. You have to understand that marriage is a process of personal development and progress. So partners must take a commitment towards supporting the growth of each other in a marital relationship. That you have to be supportive of your spouse, and your spouse have to do the same for you. So I hope this helps someone. Thank you.